Often in life, we feel this sense of despair when we're going through something, faced with a challenge, and we're like, I don't know if I can make it through this. I just don't know if I can go any further. And if you use these mental tricks that you develop to get you just to the next stop, just to the next stop, and to push through that pain and that discomfort and come out the other side, yeah, you're still running, you're still pushing. There's still pain happening, but mentally you have clarity, and now you know that you can make it. Welcome to King Moves. In chess, the king moves one step at a time, but that single move can change everything. Each week, we explore mindset shifts and simple actions that could lead to the next breakthrough in your business and life. I'm your co-host, Ethan King, from Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and best-selling author of Wealth Beyond Money.
And I'm your co-host, Justin King, no relation to Ethan, from Cape Town, South Africa. Entrepreneur, speaker, and business growth strategist. Our journey crosses continents and cultures as we think out loud, challenge assumptions, and uncover the small moves that create big momentum. Welcome to King Moves. Let's start the conversation.
All right. So, wow, Justin is back from his big milestone birthday race, his challenge, where he ran 10 marathons in 10 days around South Africa. I had the distinct honor of being able to follow him around on WhatsApp as he was giving updates throughout the adventure. But Justin, I want to know I have so many questions. First of all, how do you feel? Like physically, how do you feel right now?
Physically, the 40-year-old body did me proud. Like it really did me proud. The struggling a little bit with my left ankle. So the major physical issues that I had during the adventure was ITB in both knees. So that's just a flare up basically of the tendons on the outside of your knees. And then when that got really bad, it forced me to walk some of the way, and running and walking, two different sports. So the walking, then my left ankle flared up. So that was another challenge. So other than that,
Wait, around when did that happen? Which day?
so I struggled with the ITB from the end of marathon number 2.
Wow.
And then it flared up really badly at the end of marathon 4. And I managed 11 kilometers of marathon number 5 running before I realized I just physically couldn't run. And at that point, I had to switch to walking for marathon number 5. But I suppose we're jumping ahead a little bit. But all in all, like the body's feeling good. The legs ache a little bit at night still, so sleeping hasn't been that easy. But other than that, it's just remarkable how hardy and resilient the body can be. I thought I was going to have some back issues. I was worried about my feet. I was worried about blisters. None of those. No blisters. No issues with my feet whatsoever. No back issues. So very lucky. Very lucky. And yeah, man, what an experience.
Okay. Now I want to hear, what were some of your biggest moments, that your epiphany, because you had a lot of time to be in your head.
Too much at times, I think.
But just for our listeners, how much total time did you spend on the road, roughly?
Actually, I haven't added it up, but so marathon
50.
number 1. Yeah, I did. I'm just trying to work out. I did marathon 1 to 4. I did 4 hours 11, 4 hours 11, 4 hours 10, 4 hours 12, and then some of the injuries kicked in, and then it was around 6.5 hours. So look, across 10, we're looking at 70 hours probably of time to oneself. It was 430, just under 430 kilometers, 536,000 steps over 10 days. So 536,000 steps to contemplate life. And I raw dogged the majority of it. So I had some earphones, I had some shocks, which are the bone conducting earphones, so you can still hear what's going on around you. But there were a lot of the time I just didn't want to do that. It was just quite enjoyable to take in what was going around me and just have some thinking time.
Okay. All right. So I imagine you're a new man after an experience like that. Tell us some of the downloads you got.
Yeah, I think new man's a good way to put it. Same person with perspective shift on a lot of things, I think would be the best way to describe it. Firstly, I think I'll just say that I was humbled by the support. I know we recorded an episode about this a few weeks back, or couple of weeks before I started. I hadn't really shared too much about it, and you encouraged me to share. And then the whole thing was, I did it for me. It wasn't meant to be anything else. A few people said to me, Justin, why don't you do it for charity? And it felt like virtue signaling if I did that, because that wasn't what it was about. The way I've been describing it to people is, if you don't feel that you yourself are enough of a cause to do something, then whatever is enough of a cause. And for me, I was the cause. Like I wanted to do this thing for me. So that was huge. The support was humbling. I didn't anticipate the amount of support that I would get, and the number of people that would really resonate with, and the messages that I was getting from random people and acquaintances, and just saying, man, gee, just well done. Thank you. And we felt inspired off the back of this. I went out and I ran 5Ks, or I went out and I've entered the marathon, or I've realized that I need to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm planning my Masogi for my birthday. So to hear that kind of thing is just, it gives me goosebumps speaking about it now, but it was just unexpected. So that was pretty magical. And then as far as, geez, when you're spending that amount of time out there are so many things that go through your head, and I'm still trying to kind of work through them and download a lot of them. I suppose one of the biggest ones that jumps out to me is just how important patience is in our lives, and we often don't realize that. And we think of patience as in be patient when you're standing in a queue at the checkout till, or whatever it is. But it just runs a lot deeper than that. And how that came to be for me is that 10 marathons is quite a lot. 10 marathons is, your body takes a bit of a pounding, and there's a lot of time to feel sorry for yourself. And getting into marathon, it was really around marathon number 5 where I was struggling, and it was hot. I mean, it's in doing this in South Africa in February. February is one of our hottest months as well. So I timed it really well. It's
Wow.
one of the hot months. And there were a lot of moments where I was like, you know what, this just sucks right now. Like it's hot. My ankles sore, my knees are sore. I'm on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. There's no one around. Luckily I had my parents seconding me. You tap into the retirees who've got the time to do it. So they were amazing. So I had them seconding me, but there were long stretches where I was just on my own. And the more I went through those moments, the more clear it became to me is just be patient. It's almost treated like mindfulness, because that moment of, I don't want to call it despair. I don't think I was ever in despair, but that moment of discomfort, that moment of self-doubt where, geez, I don't think I can get to the end of today. I'm certainly can't. I don't think I've got another 4 or 5 of these in me. And all these thoughts go through your mind. That what I realized is you just got to be patient with it. Just think about, okay, well, next goal is just going to be, I'm going to get to the next stop. I'm going to get to the next stop. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have something nice and cold to drink, change my socks. And generally, once you're back on the road, your perspective has shifted. Now you get to a bend, there's novelty. Now there's an ocean view, or you see a river, and all of a sudden you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I actually don't feel that bad. I can definitely get to the end of today. And if I get to the end of today, yeah, I've got another 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these in me for sure. So it was just being patient with yourself in those moments of self doubt and discomfort. And generally they're cyclical. You come out on the other side of it. And the more you go through that, when you're in the moment of that discomfort and that self doubt, you know it's going to pass. And that just gives you, man, such a boost of confidence in the moment, rather than, I think a lot of us in that moment, but you're feeling the discomfort, and you make a decision. I'm going to call it quits, or I'm
Okay,
going to
so
tap
let me
out.
ask you something about that.
Yeah.
Was it a distinct pattern where you push through this discomfort and you come out of the other side and there's like this sense of relief, or
Mhm.
was it more unpredictable?
I wouldn't call it, I wouldn't call it relief. It was, a sense of, in the moments of discomfort, I was able to take a sense of comfort, knowing the fact that I'll come out on the other side of this feeling okay. And that wasn't the first 1 or 2 occasions. Like first couple of times, I was like, shit, man, I don't know if I can get through this. And I didn't really recognize the pattern. But as I got further into the journey of these 10 marathons, I suddenly realized, okay, I've felt this discomfort and this disheartened before, and not feeling like I'm going to be able to get through it. But I do also remember, just this morning, I was feeling super excited, super pumped. The body was feeling okay. I was excited about the route that I've got. I definitely felt that I had 6. So I was like, okay, I see. It does. You go through these cycles. So all it is just outlasting that moment of self doubt. Outlast it. Just be patient. Wait for it. And much like mindfulness, don't try ignore it. Give it some attention for what it is. Don't linger on it, but know that it's going to pass. And once it passed, man, you feel invigorated. It's just so interesting. Absolutely. Just these, like your energy spikes and drops throughout as well. And you've just got to know, okay, I'm just going through a bit of a rough patch currently, but I'll
I think
come
it's
out
a
on the other side.
bigger it as I'm hearing this, I think that there's a bigger life lesson here that everyone can apply. You had this pain, this discomfort of running these marathons, but often in life we feel this sense of despair when we're going through something, faced with a challenge, and we're like, I don't know if I can make it through this. I just don't know if I can go any further. And if you use these mental tricks that you develop to get you just to the next stop, just to the next stop, and to push through that pain and that discomfort and come out the other side, yeah, you're still running, you're still pushing. It's there's still pain happening, but mentally you have clarity, and now you know that you can make it. So it's just a matter of pushing through and getting. It seems like there's this threshold that you get through, and then you get
Yeah,
past it, and then you also the repetition. Oh, I've felt this before.
exactly.
I've been here before. I know I'll get through this,
Yeah.
and we can
I
apply that
was,
to every area of our life.
yeah, totally. I was just looking, I was making notes very often as I was running. And one of the things I wrote here was pain and negativity is fleeting, outlast and outweigh it. So that was what I wrote while I was out on the road. Outlast and outweigh it. And look, they're going to. I don't subscribe to huge respect to somebody like David Goggins, but I don't subscribe to that school of thought. It's just Goggins your way through everything. It's just shut up, no matter how painful and how much you've got bone on bone in your knees. Just get it done. I, I think there is a time where real toughness is knowing, okay, I'm done. Like I literally got to that point where that is my breaking point, or that is my point, and to just tough my way through it, it's going to harm my body, and that's going to impact the rest of my life, and that's going to impact my relationship, and I don't want to do that, and that's a smart decision not to do it. So I was always mindful of that as well, is just trying to sense check the discomfort that I'm feeling. Is it just discomfort, or is it something bigger than that? Does this feel like an injury that's or something that's really wrong? That's possibly something that I need to take more seriously. So I was always gauging that, because it wasn't a case of just, we call it fat bait in South Africa, which is basically just grit your teeth and get through it. And it
Wait,
wasn't
say that again.
fast bait, fast bait,
Fuss bait. Okay,
fast
interesting.
bait. So that's Afrikaans. So it's just gritting your teeth and getting through it no matter what. But yeah, that was interesting. That wasn't what it was for me. I, there's so many thoughts that come up now as well. And one of the reasons I did it is because I wanted to try and find my moment of my my aha moment, I suppose, but of being able to say, I see, this is what hard feels like. Because
Hmm.
we're, we've all been through hard things in our lives and difficult things in our lives, and I wanted to push myself physically to get to that point where, like, okay, I see, this is what hard feels like. And what was great is I was then able to choose. It was up to me to say, okay, this is what hard feels like. I can either say I've felt it, but I'm going to call it quits here. It's not for me, and carry on and just stop and do something else. Or, okay, this is what hard feels like. Let's see what it feels like to get it to the other side of those hard moments and the hard journey. And that was massive for me. That was massive for me to prove to myself that I can go beyond just that. This is what hard feels like. I've had enough. And yeah, part of that was needing to have the confidence in myself to know that I can do that going forward. And man, it's once you've done it, it does fill you with a lot of confidence for a lot of areas of your life.
Man, I bet. Dude, all right. Well, anything else you want to share on this episode? I mean, you had 60, 70 hours
Yeah.
of running and insights. So what do you have to say in the next 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3 minutes. I suppose one of the other big ones. I've got a ton of things here, but
And we may need to come revisit some of these on future
yeah,
episodes.
for sure.
And I do want to tell you this. I had a listener reach out to me. He happens to be a buddy of mine I knew from college, but I didn't know that he follows our podcast so intently. And he actually reached out and texted me and said, "Hey, what happened with Justin's run? I want to hear about it." Because while you were out on your run, I published some of the episodes we
Yeah,
had pre-recorded. And so people are paying attention, man. People that here in the US that you don't know are watching
appreciate
and,
that.
listening and paying attention. So I want to make sure that we
Yeah,
allow you to download and share everything that you all the wisdom and insights that you gained along the way.
Well, we'll do a session where we do 10 insights from 10 marathons. Let's do that. 10 insights from 10 marathons in 10 days, and we'll chat through those. Maybe the one last one in a couple of minutes that I can share is I just wrote in my note here again. The exact note was what your body does, your mind follows. Choose to walk with purpose. And that was also just a massive one for me because in a few of the moments, I mean, it got up to like 30 odd degrees, Ethan, on some of the days. And I'm walking at midday in the middle of nowhere, dirt paths with a
And
super
for context, 30 Celsius is about what 90 or 100.
90. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's about 90 Fahrenheit. Yeah. So, I mean, it's warm, or maybe closer to 100. But there were a couple of occasions where I find myself like stooped over and almost just dragging my feet and just walking with no purpose. And what I found is when I was walking like that, the thoughts going through my mind were, oh, man, I'm so spent, I'm so tired, my ankle's so sore, I've still got 10 miles to go. This sucks. I don't want to be here. And then as soon as I said, man, what are you doing? And kind of stood upright and started walking with some purpose, everything else shifted again. Like I didn't concentrate on the discomfort in my ankle. I wasn't thinking, man, this sucks so much. I started looking around and be like, okay, there are worse places to be. I'm on a wonderful journey that I'm learning a huge amount from. And I felt so different. And I think that happened in our lives a lot as well, is just the way you're showing up, whether it's your body language or the way that you're speaking, that action and that energy that you're bringing, everything else, your thought process and the people around you, they follow that. So walk with purpose, walk with
Wow,
purpose in your life. I mean, it makes a huge difference, huge difference.
I love it. That's a great king move. Now, how many steps was it that you took for 500,000? What?
536,000
536,000. So over 500,000
in
steps
10
in
days.
10 days. So, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to take 500,000 steps, but just take one step. One king move can change your life forever. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Justin. Look, you were my hero. Much respect for doing that. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could pull it off mentally, but more so than even physically. I saw some of your pictures and videos where you were just on, some of them you had beautiful views, and thank you for sharing those. But some of them you were just on like a long, boring highway.
Yeah.
And I felt that pain because I'm like, oh my God, that has to be so mentally boring. So for you to push through that in the hot sun, it's February. Here in the US, it's cold, but I want to just remind all of our listeners that the middle of summer for you in South Africa. 86, I looked it up, 30 degrees Celsius is 86 Fahrenheit. So that's a hot, sunny summer day. You're out there sweating, running, pushing through the pain on boring highways for a majority of the time. Wow, dude, you have much, much respect. Congratulations to you for the big goal. I remember when you said this a year ago, when you said that you were going to do it, when you taught us the word misogi. This is the first time I had heard that word misogi, and I'm just really proud of you for accomplishing that.
Appreciate it, Ethan. Thanks so much, man. Thanks for the support.
That's a wrap for today's episode of King Moves. Remember, in chess, like in business, one right move can change everything. Take today's action step, make your move, and build momentum.
If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready for their next breakthrough, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our weekly conversations. Until next time.